Welcome to Sober and Lit,
the podcast for women who want to get sober, stay sober, and live a life that's way more lit than it ever was with wine.
We're your hosts, Ruby and Susan, two alcohol freedom coaches keeping it real with stories, tools, and zero judgment.
Whether you're sober curious or all in, you're in the right place.
Let's feel lit, alcohol free. Hello, welcome back to the Sober and Lit podcast. It's Coach Susan and Coach Ruby. We're so excited. This is our Christmas or holiday episode. It's December 23rd today, and Christmas is in just 2 days, so lots of celebrating all around and other holidays, and everything can just feel really hectic. And then suddenly you're at that dinner table with your family and it feels like everyone else is drinking around you. Everyone's pouring alcohol, and I would just get so much in my head around it. And you might just be wondering, why does this feel so hard? Or I've come so far. How can I enjoy this holiday without feeling like left out? So today, that's what we're going to talk about. How to stay strong when the whole family is drinking around the holiday table. And we'll talk about protecting your peace and just navigating that holiday and family energy and just actually having fun without feeling like you're the odd one out. So let's get to it. Hey, Susan. So I thought, hi. I thought I'd start us off with that inner dialogue because it was so much for me in my head, especially the first. Actually, it still comes a little bit in my head, but definitely that first time, maybe even the first couple of times. But yeah, what is your inner dialogue like for you, and how do you stay centered when that's happening?
Well, this is something I work on a lot with my clients, is really learning about and understanding the voice in our head and becoming aware of this sort of ongoing dialogue that we have in our brain and where that comes from, right? That maybe we don't need to believe everything we think, because our voice in our head is formed by our prior experiences, our culture, and it wants to keep us safe. Right. It's in our survivor brain. It's in our amygdala. And so if everyone else is doing something, then this survivor brain is like, oh, we need to be doing the same thing as everybody else in the tribe, because otherwise, if you're not, the same as everyone else, if you're not in the tribe, then you're out of the tribe. And that means, usually death back in the caveman days. But we're not in caveman days anymore. We don't have to do what everybody else is doing. And so just understanding that you may have some of those thoughts come up, like, oh, everybody else is drinking and I'm not, and so I'm left out. Or everyone's laughing really loud and crazy at this joke that's not even that funny, and I'm the, am I the only one that's going, that's not that funny, and just noticing, what is the voice in your head saying to you? So just working on kind of hearing that. And sometimes the first thing you do is you feel something. So what I try to do is, if I start to feel like, or I just notice what I'm feeling, and then I try to think, what are my thoughts right now that are causing me to feel this way? So an example of this is probably my FFT around Christmas. It was Christmas Eve, or maybe it was Christmas Day, but it doesn't matter. It was Christmas. And we had finished eating, everyone had finished eating, and people were still drinking. So there was the more drinking, right? And everyone was laughing. And again, like I said, that super loud laughter that's everybody's faces are flush and everything's super funny. And I got up and went and put like my dish in the dishwasher and turned around and felt very left out. I just felt, and so I said, okay, what am I thinking? And I realized that my thought was, I'm the only one here not drinking. So that made me feel left out, right? So I had that feeling. And then I use the tools that I've learned and I work on with my clients, is that magic question, is that true? And I went, well, is that really true? And then I looked over at my dad, and my dad is one of those unicorns that literally has one beer. He had one beer at the beginning of the meal, and that's it. So in that moment, was he drinking? No. I look around at the table. I've got my son. I've got my nephews. They're not drinking. So I am not the only one not drinking, right? So then I just went, okay, now, again, move a muscle, change a thought. I went, okay, what can I do right now just to bump myself out of this thought is I just said, you know what, I'm just going to start clearing the dishes. I'm just going to clear the dishes and do the dishes and just kind of move around a little, move my body. Another thing you could do is just, go into one of the back bedrooms and do some tapping or do some, just go outside, get some fresh air, to the backyard, maybe put on the fire pit, sit out there, change venues, But just even once I examined my thoughts and went, wait a minute, I'm not the only one not drinking. I unloaded, I did some dishes and then I sat back down and we started playing a game. And one of the tactics that I talk about in my Holiday Thrive course and also in my 5 steps to an amazing alcohol-free holiday season is this idea of, like you said, a mantra or an activating question, and just have one in my pocket, even written down on a card. Be that intentional, like have something written down. I could look at it again and go, what do I need to believe to feel the way I want to feel? Or what would the best version of myself do? Or what do I really deserve right now? Just some question, because when we put that question in our mind, our brain stops thinking about that other thought, that inner dialogue, and starts answering that question. So when we put the right questions in our brain, then it goes off to solving that. Oh, another one is, how can I create more connection? That would be a good one. Or what is there to be grateful for in this moment? So having like a little card with a few of these questions to kind of bump your brain out of that old inner dialogue of, oh, I'm left out, and I'm not minimizing that because it's a real thought and it makes a real feeling. But then we go, well, is this how I want to feel? And we have more control over our thoughts and our feelings than we think we do. And so some of these ideas are a way that we can pull a lever and change how we're feeling and thinking, and then how we're feeling, and then get back to sticking with our intention of staying alcohol free, but also enjoying our holiday. So I don't know. That was my long-winded answer.
Wow. So much nuggets in there, Susan. I love it all. Yeah. I was just thinking about, for me, it's a lot of the energy around the family. Like it's hectic, it's Christmas time. I've been working like a dog, cooking and, buying presents and wrapping presents and doing all this work, or sometimes I make stuff, but I feel like when I walk into my parents' house for Christmas, it's so much like energy. So for me, I really, really lean heavily on getting there early, or even asking if I can come beforehand so that I can just get situated and settled. And as people arrive, I'm not like the last one arriving and there's like 30 people there. I mean, to me, that's just, I would want to run and hide and drink because there's so much energy, and I would be all in my head. I would look at my brother and think one thing, and then my sister or my parents. And so, but one story I can think of was like Christmas Eve. We decided to go out to eat. So we were more at a restaurant, but everybody at the table was like ordering a beer, a wine. And I was at this one end of the table. So it was a big table. There was like 20 of us. And like that end of the table was all ordering alcohol. Then you get to me, and I ordered, sparkling water, I think. And then everybody after me ordered non-alcoholic drinks. And I felt funny, like in my head, like, did they just order because of me? And am I, making it less, I don't know, festive because I'm not drinking? And I was so in my head. So I love to like go to the restroom. That's like my go-to. I know we mentioned a lot, but these tools are worth repeating. Just, I would, if I felt really all in my head, and in my head is like, just like I said, like, oh, everybody's past me didn't order a drink. Am I, creating, are people not having as much fun because I'm at the table? It goes that deep. And then I go, should I not even be here? Like, why am I here? I don't belong. Yeah. Same as you, like that whole tribe, like I don't belong. And it's so funny because it's seriously a beverage. It's a liquid in a glass, but it means so much more. I don't know why I do know, but why we give alcohol like so much power of like, this is a family. I mean, I love my family. My family loves me. Like, it's so much more than just alcohol, but but you do. I mean, your example too, where people are laughing and I'm like, that's not funny, but what I also do is I love your list, but I also like in my phone, like before I go, think of questions I'm going to ask people. And I love to get people individually and or whoever I'm sitting next to at the table, or if it's before, each and every person my intention is to connect. That's always my intention for holidays. And so how can I connect with each and every person individually and kind of let that big table, the whole, when they're making jokes, or kind of take the back seat. That's what I do. I kind of take the back seat there and try to connect one-on-one with a really fun question. I remember last year's question was, what was your favorite vacation this year? Or something like that. But like a question to get them to think about the whole year, or, what are you excited about? A new hobby for 2026. Maybe that'll be something. I want to keep people like positive, obviously, and just keep it light, and maybe have them think about a question, or what was your favorite moment this past year. And I think that can keep me out of my head, is when I can go one-on-one with each person, and I just keep going to the bathroom, or go walk my dog, go outside, maybe get one friend, one cousin or someone, hey, you want to go for a walk? Because like you said, changing venue, doing something different. I am now I used to be I think they might have even talked about me. I used to be Ruby, who would drink so much that I didn't help do the dishes. I think I didn't that much, because I was just consumed in my thoughts with drinking more and more and not even aware. And all of a sudden the dishes would be done. But now I'm Ruby who does the dishes, or says, hey, cousins, let's all play a game. Let's do something fun. It's so much more fun and so much more connected, because the worst thing that would happen, and I'm going to cry, I think, thinking about it, is to wake up, December 26th and realize I didn't connect with anybody. I didn't actually have one conversation that was real. I would it would just be heart wrenching. I'd be like, wait, I only see certain nieces and nephews a couple times a year. I don't even know what are they doing in their lives? What do they like? What, what lights you up? That's a great question too. What lights you up? Or what are you doing in your life? What's fun? Those are the things, and it's just so sad when that happens. You wake up the next day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love a couple of things that you said, being very aware of the way you describe that is just how that inner voice, inner dialogue, you can just go down that road, and how the story you're telling yourself gets worse and worse, right? All the way to, I don't belong. And of course, this is your family. Of course you belong, right? Number one. And also, not that we want to shame ourselves, but we can fall into romanticizing the wine and the alcohol, and going back and remembering the times that alcohol did ruin our holiday. And I can think back as a mom, forgetting to do the stockings, waking up hungover on Christmas morning going, oh, F word, I forgot to do the stockings. And it's, 5 a.m, running out there and shoving everything into the stockings because I forgot taking a bite out of the cookie.
I think I did that
milk. Yeah. And going, oh my gosh. And then starting off Christmas morning hungover, and honestly, I think I've shared this story before, but, I'm super embarrassing. And is that, I told my one time, like you said, you're working your butt off, you're doing all this stuff, and you start to get resentful and frustrated. And then you pour alcohol into that. And then all of a sudden you say things that you don't mean, right? So that's not being my best self. And so in some ways, just preparing yourself mentally, being intentional to the point of awkwardness, having a plan. And then if you don't need it, great, but have a plan, and really thinking about the truth. It looks like, oh, everybody's having this great time and I'm missing out. But what are you missing out on? Maybe I'm missing out on saying something to someone that I don't really mean, because I don't even know what I'm saying. Telling my family to F off on Christmas Eve, or, forgetting to do the stockings, missing out on connection, like you said. And I love your idea of those questions, coming up with a question that you ask each person, or a specific thing that you really want to know about some, a family member. And yeah, just again, planning a little bit in advance and just reminding yourself of why you're alcohol free. Why are you choosing not to drink alcohol? Because again, for me, I come back to, I am not my best self when I am drinking. And it doesn't make me feel good. And it exacerbates my anxiety and depression. And that's not how I want to feel during the holidays. So coming back to, how do I want to feel? And does alcohol contribute to that or take away from that?
Right. Yeah. Some people, when they're drinking, you make like they become different people, like different personalities, and you can go down a really deep rabbit hole. So I want you to, especially if this is your first alcohol-free Christmas or holiday, I really want you to catch it early. And another really good tool is to have like a grounding tool, like a bracelet. I have a bracelet, or you could have a stone in your pocket, or you could even do this with your fingers. But like you can hold, like when you start to go, wait a minute, you can feel, like, start to really be aware of your feelings. And I know this isn't easy. This is like, we're used to just like, if you're feeling a little icky, drink, right? Numb it. But if you start to feel a little in your head or icky, or like people are judging you, maybe you could go to the restroom, change your venue or something, or you could have a grounding tool, a bracelet. I have a bracelet with beads, and I just touch the beads, and I remind myself, that I really, what is your why? That's when you can go, okay, my why is, and when we say, what is your why? What we mean is, why are you doing this? Why do you want to be alcohol free? And so when you prepare in advance, think about that. What is your intention tonight? And like I said, oftentimes mine is, I want to connect with everybody, but your intention might be, you want to make everybody laugh, or you want to, whatever, be calm, instead of being, maybe you're a person that when you're drinking, you're normally like all over the place, but maybe this time you want to be more calm and centered and grounded, and just like comfort. It depends on your holiday. Everybody's like family is so different, right? Like people can be just crazy games and laughing the whole time, or more people can be more calm, and like maybe you ask people, what are you grateful for? This year. Yeah. So.
Well, I wanted to share this because I'm just so touched that I shared in a group that I coach in that I got this bracelet made for myself from like Etsy that said, play it forward. And I would wear it and just look at it, and it would remind me, okay, play it forward. If I drink, what's going to happen? And I always like to say, play it forward 2 times. If I drink, what's really going to happen? And then if I don't drink, how am I going to feel? And end on that, I'm going to feel great. I'm going to wake up. I have an exercise class planned tomorrow morning, or, I'm going to wake up bright and early with the kids and the stockings and make the cinnamon rolls and make scrambled eggs, and be present, so just that little reminder, like you said, a little rock in your pocket, a little bracelet you can, that says play it forward, or just a card in your pocket or purse that says play it forward, or some of those activating thoughts to just change your mindset in that moment and remind yourself, again, like you said, how do I want to feel this holiday? And does alcohol help me feel that way? Calm, less anxious, joyful, connected, really digging into that. And even in advance, make a body memory of that feeling.
And what's a body memory? Yeah.
Well, if you do a visualization, I do this with clients, and really, where do you feel joy or calm or connected in your body, and connecting with that feeling? Because we have a lot of body memories around alcohol. We have a lot of body memories around the buzz, or, probably mostly around the buzz, right? That our brain is trying to remind us of. So we want to practice making a body memory of how it feels when we're sober, when we're lit and sober, when we
grounded,
feel calmingness. Yeah. So it's having some breathing 2x breath, which is breathe in for like 3 and out for 6. You can just do that even when you're sitting at the table. Breathe in, breathe out, calm your nervous system, get back to where do you feel the joy in your body. You always own that. You always have that in your body, and get back to that place in you. That's
you always your like heart, your North Star.
Yeah.
I'd love to even play it forward to how do you want to sleep tonight? Like, how do you want your head on the pillow? I call it like a pillow pledge. Make yourself a pledge that your head will hit the pillow and you're going to be so like just proud of yourself. Tap into that pride. And then the next morning you wake up and you're not hungover. Yeah, you can wake right up, see the sunrise, or do something so exciting. I do have one thing I want to say to our listeners that I want to share, and it's called a heart hug. And I love a heart hug. So I'm picturing like when I get there early to my family party, and then everybody that comes in, you can do it slowly and like really. So a heart hug, everybody hugs this way to the left. A heart hug, and it's really awkward at first, is you do it to the right. And you hug to the right, and that puts your two hearts together.
Oh.
And then you take about 2 whole breaths. It's going to feel awkward. People are like, wait. But I've been doing this for years. And it's like, because then it's a memory and you connect and you let your 2 heartbeats kind of connect for a good like 2 or 3 breaths. Like you just like hug. And that is true connection. Definitely before I would have just, hey, already have pre-gamed and like, but this way it's like just so important to hug. I don't know. I love hugging. Hugging's my thing. I like to hug everyone.
That's beautiful. I love that. I can imagine where it's like that dance when you go to hug people. But that's beautiful. That's funny because my father-in-law was a really long hugger, and I used to go, okay, let go.
Yeah.
But I see the beauty in that. And I didn't know what you were going to say because I've never heard that before. I wonder if there's even a way, because some people, my family's not super huggy. So some people may not want to hug that long, but I wonder if there's just a way to approach people with like an inner heart hug to them. Like when you're talking to them, like imagine your heart, like hugging them, even if they're not people who want to hug.
And you don't have to do it super long, but like maybe at least one, like notice your heart, and that it's actually it is. That's the closest
there's
you can
a co-regulation.
Heart.
Yeah. And you can co-regulate. Yeah.
And calm down. Yeah. That's just amazing.
That's beautiful.
So, yeah.
Beautiful.
So we talked about so many tactics today, so many tips and tools and suggestions. So, but Susan, if you wanted to just do one short thing to like, what do you want people to know? Yeah.
Well, I think I'll put a link to my 5 steps, but it's pre-plan or pre-decide. Just decide I'm going to be alcohol free. So make that decision, maybe share that decision with someone, maybe us. We'd love to hear from you. Get into our sober and lit community and just say, okay, this is my FFT. This is my first sober Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever celebration. The second is to do is to think about things that maybe trip you up, and to like really be intentional about it and be intentional about coming up with your mantra or your activating thought. And then to play it forward, 2X, which is visualize, play it forward. What's going to happen if you do drink? When that moment comes, if that moment comes where you're like tempted, and what's going to happen if I don't drink, and ending on that. And then the last step is to visualize yourself, knocking it out of the park. Visualize yourself handling one of those situations that maybe you think could trip you up in a way that makes you proud. And then also visualize yourself truly enjoying. And like you said, giving that heart hug, or truly connecting with the different people in your family, and really prepare. So this is a preparation tool to go into the event, and be intentional about your preparation. And even if this is your 5th alcohol-free holiday, like it's always, I think it's helpful to prepare. And what's so awesome about that, what's so awesome about us sober people is this idea of living intentionally. We just don't show up and go, okay, I'm just going to drink my way through this holiday. It's like, I'm here, I'm living in the present, I'm living with intention. I want to connect with family members. I want to connect with my loved ones, and making an intention to do that. Like, it's living intentionally, and it's beautiful. And that's what's so beautiful about living alcohol free.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And I'm going to be posting. I also have, it's an 8-step. So yeah, all of those are in my holiday survival guide, and preparation, intention is so important. And then also I don't know, we didn't say it on this episode, but plan an NA drink.
Oh yeah.
That's one we didn't say yet. So yeah, bring your own. Make sure you have something that you want to drink, whether it's a fun mocktail or maybe an alcohol-free, sparkling, or just sparkling water and lime, which is my favorite. So yeah, we definitely have lots of ideas. We'll probably post one with this episode. Yeah. So we're at the time in our podcast. Susan, what do you do to feel lit at Christmas time?
Well, so I just love sparkly, twinkly lights. And so I just have them all over my house. So just sitting and enjoying, and with a beautiful, like making a cozy corner, having a special maybe Christmas tea or coffee or decaf coffee or something if it's in the evening that I'm enjoying, and just sitting and enjoying the beautiful lights in my home. That's just something that, I put them up on the mantle, and they're, of course on the tree, and just sitting and enjoying, just being and enjoying the twinkle lights.
I love that.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah, Christmas lights have always been one of my favorite things too. So do you have like white, lights, or do you have all the colors?
Well, we always have the battle in our family, so it's always some of the people in my family, my close-knit family, my little, my foursome family or sixsome family, when we had the 4 kids, half people wanted the colored and half people wanted the white. And so we used to go back and forth. And now that it's just me and my husband, then pretty much, white lights usually win unless we're too late and we need more. Like we ran all our white lights, bit the dust one year, and then it was too late. There were no white lights left, like at Home Depot. So we ended up with colored lights. So now I have a huge reel of colored lights, and I think I bought another reel of white lights. So sometimes we still switch off.
Yeah. I remember the year I had Christmas when I lived in Sweden. I was an exchange student in Sweden, and they actually have lights that look like candles. And in the old days, they were real candles in the tree. I mean, go figure. Hello, fire anyone? But they have these, like, they're big and they look like an actual candle, and you clip them on all over the tree. And I was like, oh, we have flashing colored lights. And they're like, what is that? That's a disco tree. I'm like, yeah, disco tree. I don't know. I love the color flashing lights. That's me. Okay. And then, I turn down the lights in my living room and just, sit there with a cup of tea and look at all the colors flashing. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, and having your alcohol-free special drink. I mean, I know we talk about that a lot, but then realizing that not everybody listens to every episode. So definitely that is a big tactic. So planning what you're going to drink and bringing enough for yourself so that you always have a drink in your hand. That is the biggest tactic.
Yes,
always have your AF drink in your hand, and then nobody will ask you if you want a drink.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, this has been so much fun. Thank you for listening. I wish you a happy Hanukkah, happy Christmas. And soon it's the new year. We're heading into 2026. Can you believe that we will be starting our 3rd year of the podcast in 2026? So
we're over 100 episodes now.
So
I can't believe it.
Wishing you so much joy, so much peace, so much love and connection, and I hope you found this episode wonderful, and happy holidays from us.
Thanks so much for listening to the Sober and Lit podcast.
If you enjoyed this episode, we would love it if you would subscribe, rate, and review. It really helps get the word out.
And remember, do something today to help you feel lit.
See you next week.